Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here at my next Sword Art Online 2 episode review. This one's going to be for episode 7, Crimson Memories. And yeah, really good episode. There's some very nice scenes in this one, as this is the episode that's basically just set up before the Bullet of Bullet tournament actually starts. So interesting, just the way they decided to do that. That did it all around. Then have this one episode to basically get everything out of the way that they're gonna get out of the way before that tournament starts. So primarily, what the episode does is just it gives us our kind of final moments before the big climactic battle, basically, where you get to see Kirito back in the real world, Asada back in the real world, and kind of their mindset heading into the tournament. So there's some very nice scenes that happen here. You know, just getting to see Sugaha a little bit again was a nice kind of continuity with the last season, and that she is clearly worried about him when he comes back after obviously what's just happened after the preliminary rounds, and she's worried about him. She's kind of phoned Asuna to find out what the situation is, and you know we also get just this moment where Kirito and Asuna speak over kind of video phone call, and again you just see that she is very much aware that there's kind of something up here, but she doesn't want to kind of just kind of super kind of pry into it and kind of get him to talk about it, because she understands that this is something he has to do. And for him, I thought it was very interesting that they brought it up, that he doesn't want to involve her at all in this, because he now knows that the red players are involved, Laughing Coffin's involved in this, that he has to do this on his own to protect her so she is not involved ever again in this. And it links into the scene that happens in the hospital with the nurse, Aki, because that whole thing is, again, a really important scene. I referenced that in the previous scene we had with her, that I was very surprised that they brought her back and had such an important scene happen with her. But they used the fact that she is a nurse and she kind of transferred from the trauma unit very effectively here, because you have Kirito, before he heads back in, to basically confront Death Gun and potentially have to deal with all this stuff coming back up, just need this pep talk where, and just come out with the fact that he feels horrible with himself for forgetting about 2 of the 3 people that he killed in SAO, and what that says about him. And that, like, for him who takes the virtual world so seriously, what does it say about him that he forgot 2 people that he killed? And it's really interesting, because again she really thinks she can really help him out, but then at the start she doesn't know what to say when he just comes out with this and says that he killed 3 people. But when it comes down to it, she kind of doesn't know what to say, but then comes around to the fact that I didn't play the game, but I know you, and I, you know, have heard the stories, that everything you did in that game, it was to protect other people. And when she says this, he remembers that yes, a lot of what he did at the end of the game was to protect Asuna, but it's also over the course of the game, you know, it was to protect Silica, Elizabeth, and stuff like that. He very much cared about all of the other players in the game, and him making these tough decisions in the heat of battle to take these guys out. Yes, it was a kind of bad thing, and it has a big impact on him now, but it was the right decision. Just like she could relate to the fact that as a trauma kind of nurse, there are sometimes have to make decisions about like which patients to focus on and save, and which patients they kind of have to go, they're too far gone and stuff like that. So I thought it was really well done how they kind of contrasted this crazy absurd situation that Kirito was in this kind of video game of death, and then this very real world kind of job of like a trauma nurse basically, and how they kind of she helped him so much in this moment that he really needed it. And it's one of those scenes where like a lot of people criticize Sword Art Online in general for Kirito being the main character and being a bit of a Gary Stu, this kind of perfect character. But I always cite scenes like this and lots of other scenes throughout all of the seasons that show that he has these kind of weaknesses, and he has these moments of weakness where he does rely on other characters and does need other characters to help him. And so it's scenes especially like this one in this arc that are just incredibly important, where he was kind of lost as he was about to head into the Bullet tournament. And if he didn't get this pep talk, what would he be like in the tournament in the upcoming episodes compared to, he's calm now, he understands, he knows now kind of this idea that even if I forget who these people are, but the fact that I care so much about this and haven't forgotten that I did it is a big deal. And maybe confronting Death Gun will help me fully remember this stuff and get over it. But the key thing here is just that he knows that what he did was to protect others, and that's a big thing. And it reveals straight away what Asuda also needs to learn, in that in her past, the thing that ultimately is causing her issues with guns is the same. That she needs to realize that when she killed this guy to save her mother, she saved her mother, she saved all the other people in the bank. And yes, it's this horrible event that has a huge impact on her because she killed someone. But she has to just she made the decision that she made, and she saved other people, even if it's something that affected her. So I really like the way they relate Kirito and Sinon's arcs together, but they've yet to fully make the connection that they will make. Now Kirito is going in with this knowledge, and obviously he's going to be the one to kind of almost get that across to Sinon in this episode, in the upcoming episodes. But on the other side of the story, we have Asuda, and we deal with her in some of the kind of build up to the Bullet tournament scenes. And it's primarily her and Kyoji, and establishing kind of more of their relationship. We know he likes her, and we see her very much kind of rant and rave a little bit about Kirito and how he really just gets under her skin and frustrates her, his confident attitude, his skill. But deep down, the main thing is that she sees in him something that she wants, that he is similar to her, but has strength in the real world and the virtual world. She can see that just because his skill when they fought was beyond what could possibly be done just in the game. So she could see that in something that she wants. And inadvertently, from her experiences with Kirito, she is beginning to heal, because she gets so angry, she does the gun thing with her hand and doesn't freak out because she's almost not aware of it. And Kyoji makes a big deal about this because he's like, you're not doing anything. I like the way they do the scene, and that he kind of goes up to her like, are you okay? And it's interesting because obviously Kyoji turns out to be the kind of basically the main villain of this thing. But even this scene that they have here, even though, yes, he there's a little bit of jealousy there from the fact that she's talking so much about Kirito and not him and stuff like that, and he gets a bit kind of forward. But fundamentally, I didn't hate him or have any real dislike towards him because of this scene. I thought it was a kind of fairly maturely done scene that they actually dealt with, and that she just kind of pushed him away and went, no, not now. Will you wait for me until the tournament is over? I appreciate that you care for me and want to help me, but this is something in the tournament that I have to do on my own. And I kind of just like that she's just like, no, not now. But she's kind of letting him know that I do feel something, but we'll deal with it afterwards. So it wasn't just this complete kind of thing like, oh no, she's not feeling this at all. He needs to back off. You get a little bit of that when they have the scene later on in GGO, and it kind of happens again. But still, there is the fact that she does, to some extent, like him. But definitely they're kind of getting it, they're kind of bringing it up more and more that he's very kind of needy, he's becoming very attached and kind of wanting everything right now. But I don't think there's anything that straight away just leads you to go, he's the villain. Like the opening kind of the images in the opening kind of clearly hint that, oh, he's Death Gun, but just in terms of his appearances in the show up to now, he's just come across as a very supporting friend who really just cares for her, and someone who has been helpful for her in her life, and she realizes that. So that was a kind of really interesting scene, the way they kind of did it, and just said that, like, they're just establishing as they go into this tournament that she is so eager to defeat Kirito in going into this tournament, because she now sees him as basically the most powerful player, and if she can defeat him, who's powerful in both worlds, she will completely get over her issues. That it's not just about defeating all of the other players, the focus is Kirito. And obviously with him, he doesn't really have any, like, real kind of stock in, like, oh, I'll defeat Sinon again, because he's on this other mission that he hasn't told her about, and that still has to come up. So, like, there's still a lot of interesting interactions to come between Kirito and Sinon, which is pretty interesting just by itself. But yeah, that's basically all there is to say. They just obviously end the episode with the fact that they both arrive in GGO. They're both kind of seen as kind of favorites for the tournament, and you just end the episode with Kirito and Sinon face to face just as the tournament's about to start, which was really cool. So, final thoughts on the episode. Really liked it as a kind of final setup for what is going to be this multi-part final kind of battle sequence. And just kind of getting those final moments of our kind of two main characters for this arc in the real world, and establishing what they're dealing with personally heading into this tournament. Kirito with the whole red player laughing coffin, bringing up SAO again, the fact that he forgets about two of the people that he killed, and he has to deal with that he's heading into a tournament with someone who he potentially had a battle that could have ended in one of them dying, and he may have to deal with that because he could have killed Death Gun's friends or whatever. And with Asada, her main thing is that she wants to win, to become stronger, to get over her fear of guns. But now it's kind of shifted a little bit, and she wants to defeat Kirito because she sees him now as the kind of the highest point of that goal that she needs to kind of meet. If she can defeat him, it will prove to her that she is also strong outside as well. So some really great stuff, I think, presented in this episode. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on the episode and the review. Other than that, thanks for listening, and bye.